What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. We're here on a live stream because I wanted to have a video that you guys could react to real time. Don't know if we'll get much of an audience because I put this out kind of late, but I had a lot of things on my mind that I wanted to get off my chest as it relates to MANTA, this whole thing that's going on, what I think about it, my opinions, what I've heard, and what I'm going to be doing. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. Just remember, nothing here that I say is financial advice. You got to do your own research. And as always, a plug for the Web3 Secret Society. If you want to join a private group with sort of alpha coaching and support, the white glove service, check that out. Now, if you're tuning in just to find out, hey, how do I claim this MANTA airdrop? Quickly, all you got to do is go to the New Paradigm website, which you've been doing probably every single week. If you have any boxes, they'll show up here. Click on those boxes to open them. They will give you NFTs. Also, you may have bought some NFTs off Element on the secondary market, I guess. Once you're done all of that, click on Claim Airdrop and check all the ones you want. So tier 1 backers, you can't select a few. You got to put all or nothing. And then you pick, all the ones you want to redeem, hit claim 0 MANTA. Now, the network is under a ton of stress. So most of the time you do it, you'll get this red error saying too much volume or too much traffic, try again later. Literally all I did was press the button 6 or 7 times. And it was easy for me because all I had left to redeem was tier 1 backers. And eventually it went through. So you have to, every time it resets, you have to select the NFTs again and do it. So maybe do it, a couple at a time. Once you're done that, you can either choose to stake that by clicking on the staking button, which sort of opens up a new portal, or you can do what I did and go to Aperture Swap, which I've talked about this a ton because there's that opportunity changing your ETH over to Stone. Well, you can select the MANTA token after you've connected. You can select the token you want to trade it for. I picked ETH, and the reason for that is that allows me to use the Orbiter bridge to then pick MANTA over here. Let's just find it. Not Mantle, MANTA. Why did it go? Okay, let's try that again. MANTA, and then I'll put it to Arbitrum just because the gas is cheaper. Then I can sort of go whatever amount I want and send it over. So I've got a ton of comments recently asking about that. Hopefully that addresses it. Now, the rest of this video is really going to be about my opinions and my thoughts. Now, if you want more details, you can click the how to claim your MANTA tokens video here. You can find it on the channel. Where did I put this thing? Just got to find the comments. So let me tell you something. There's been a ton of comments on the MANTA videos recently, and you can probably see a very clear distinction on how people are feeling. Scam drop. Waste drop. I wasted my money. I lost my gas. People basically put in 2.5 ETH and got 20 MANTA tokens. They're giving it up for probably 68 days from now. It was 69 days from the token generation event, TGE. So that being said, here's my concern with this whole thing. The first thing I have to say is, hey, I take some ownership here as well. I promoted the MANTA airdrop. A ton of influencers did. I did it because I thought it was a great idea. The way they pitched this was actually, was pretty cool. And it felt like a very strong community building event. So I saw a ton of people talking about it, and I checked it out, saw it was safe, saw it was audited, and it met the requirements for me to talk about it on my channel. Because as you guys know, I don't just sort of put anything up there. I want to sort of make sure I do my vetting process if you're putting your hard-earned money in there, or if I'm putting my hard-earned money in there, right? We don't work our 9-to-5 jobs for now to sort of lose it on scams and stuff like that. So from a safety perspective, that was never an issue. And then what I found out after was there were whales who were constantly farming. So, no shade on Virtual Bacon because he's got a huge channel and a huge following. But if you take a look at his account, he farmed a ton, and he put in I think 200 Ethereum, but he also had thousands of people using his referral link. And they sort of played the system to sort of build that up. And by doing so, he's got a ton of rewards, which, not wrong, not like there's nothing sort of ethically wrong about any of that. But what that does is it massively dilutes what the average person can get. In my channel, there's a reason I don't share with you guys strategies to sort of deposit 300 ETH, right? I've seen some channels do that where like, oh, they got $100,000 in this airdrop. The average person who's in airdrops is literally sitting there looking to turn $10 to $1,000 into a significant amount of money that they can work with in the bull run. I imagine that's what most people are doing, which is why that's what I'm trying to emulate. In fact, when I first started, I think I put 1 ETH in there, then I put a second ETH, but I was trying to keep it small because I wanted to sort of reflect sort of the regular audience, right? That's who I'm building these videos for. The whales don't need these videos. The whales just have money, right? So my whole thing here is, great, it's a whale drop, so be it. There was a luck component, okay. What I noticed was this was getting massively diluted. And my first big point of contention came when all of a sudden I logged in one morning, right? So every communication that they had on Twitter was all about, hey, deposits stop in January and the campaign ends in March. That was the verbiage that they said. That was on all their communications. Then there's a sort of ticker, one morning I log in maybe a week ago, and it's like counting down to like 4.5 days. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And turns out they sort of got rid of the deposits and just said the campaign ends here, but we're going to hold on to your Ethereum tokens 69 days plus from the token generation event. So it was kind of like, okay, I expected a bigger press release. Especially, I don't care what they have written in a corner of some document. If the community as a whole is telling you that this is vastly different from their understanding, why aren't you putting out a press release to let people know exactly what's going on? Instead, Kenny and the rest of the team really fumbled this one. In Discord, if you mentioned anything about this, you either got timed out, ignored, or they sort of brushed it off and didn't give you a real answer, which I thought was pretty disgusting in my opinion, right? I don't mind the fact that this was a whale drop in the end and it got heavily diluted. Where I care is when you try to screw the average person and go, hey, it makes no difference to them, but it does, because some people couldn't even get one box. They deposited an amount that they thought would get them multiple boxes over the course of 3 months, given what you said. I know somebody who, they got into this because of me, and they were 2 box pieces away from getting their first box. They joined in mid-December, and sorry, you get nothing, right? For me, I was fortunate enough to get a ton of boxes from 2 boxes at least a week, and then I got some from the referrals, and then the referrals of people who use my referral code. As you remember, I tried to make this really about community. In fact, anyone who used my referral code, I gave them back half the rewards of what I was getting. That's how much I was not trying to monetize my audience, because I don't want to do that, right? There are other things that I have in place, like the Web3 Secret Society. I have, YouTube ads. I have other things, like same reason why I don't do sponsorships. I don't want to put anything on my audience that I don't think is good. So when this came up, I was like, well, I was wrestling with the fact that I was going to be using a referral code. And I told myself, okay, if I get half of it back, then we're splitting it. And it's not really like me just incentivized to like come here and basically get every single one of you to join, use my link, and me profit off it regardless of what happens to you. So I hope you guys found that somewhat fair. Now, what I would say here is, I've talked a lot. I'm going to check the comments in a second, but honestly, like after everything that happened, and then they sort of didn't come through, they randomly just one morning, you could see your allocation. There was no announcement. So then what that does is, if you were online when that announcement got made, because it was random, the timing and everything, you were fortunate enough to be able to play the market. So if you, for example, were one of the fortunate few who logged on and saw that the lead code was getting like 60 tokens, you probably dumped a bunch of your lead codes at 0.35 before they went to 0.1514, right? And that's a huge edge in the market. And it would have been better for them to sort of announce a time like most places do, instead of just randomly throwing that out there. They didn't care. That's the reality of it. They didn't care because their biggest customer, the whales, why would they care, right? Why would it matter to them whenever this campaign turned off? They've already got their fill, you know what I mean? And they've already got their ETH to hold from you for another 2.5 months. So like that was pretty shady in my opinion that they didn't even consider that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to talk a bit more, but I want to hear from the guys here. So we got Mr. Crypto Viking saying $10 soon. And he's like, shh, yeah, well, we'll see. Apparatus says, great channel. Will you talk about Satoshi VM? So there is a bunch of stuff going off with Satoshi VM. I don't know if you follow crypto Twitter, but Zach XBT has been covering like a bunch of shadiness. Like a lot of people were getting in the pre-orders. That's why like I don't talk about buying that token. That was never part of the video I made yesterday. And honestly, like I wish I could have made that video a few days earlier. There just wasn't enough content for me to justify making a video showing you how to bridge some SAVM token back and forth. That's whatever, right? Like their testnet is being built up and they will incentivize users for that. If you check one of their most recent tweets, they have it there. And in fact, if you watch the video I posted yesterday, I pinned the link to that tweet in the comments. And that tweet came out a few hours after I addressed everyone's comments saying, well, the token launched, so this video is a waste of time. So the reason I sort of say that is, guys, incentivize testnets. We don't put any money down. This is free, like it's on the house. Very low effort. That's where I'm not too worried. There's a ton of like sketchiness going on in crypto, and that's always going to happen, right? You're going to have a ton of people who are willing to build up a following, copying, pasting other people's content, and then trying to like use it to parlay into a service. If I showed you guys like the amount of requests I get for like, hey, like, can you like promote our service or whatever? And like every single person wants to do that, right? Like here, this one's not so bad, but I'm just going to show it on the channel anyways, right? Like this is an example. Like, can you see this? This is an example. This from yesterday. Hey, can you talk about Coolbit X? We'll give you some wallets for free. We'll do all this stuff. You get like % off. I would never use their service. So why would I present this to you guys? I get this every single day, and don't get me twisted. Every single person you watch gets this every single day. It's just, are you strong enough to say, hey, I don't need this, and I'm ethically right to sort of go after what I think is best for the community, which is why I tell you guys, like, look, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to sort of tell you what I'm doing. What you guys do at the end of the day is for you. Just going back to sort of the Satoshi VM here, a lot of people, they cave. Why? Because $50,000, $100,000, it's worth more to them than their morals. So they're willing to get in early, create a ton of hype, and then capitalize on people who get suckered in to buy it over them, and then they dump on them. This happens for everything. There's a reason why, like, listen, when I got an exchange offering me $3,000 to post a video about them. Now, I never would use their exchange. So why would they give me $3,000 unless they are making so much more? And Alexi, I'm not going to fund Manta. That's not what this video is about. In fact, I'm going to give you my honest opinion, which is I do think the token's going to go up. It's not about fudding. I'm talking about what they did, right? So I want to make it very clear here. Fudding is not ever, if you express dissatisfaction, how is that FUD? I'm not saying the token is a scam. I'm not saying the founders are a scam artist. What I'm saying is I'm upset with how they handled it, and I want to see them change their approach. That's what I want to see. To just call something FUD because you don't like it is not right. Fudding something is saying, hey, the token's a scam, or saying they're not going to return our ETH. Some people are saying that. I don't believe that for a second. I believe your funds are safe on Manta Pacific. I'm not worried about that. My concern is with how they treated the people who joined their program. That's what it is. Does that make sense? I wonder what this NFT is going to do for the L2 modular holders. Yeah, who knows? Like, once again, clear communication. The number one thing I want to see in crypto is clear communication. It's already confusing enough. You got tons of people coming in, making a ton of assumptions, right? Like, in fact, he had said on one of the videos with a team member, hey, we're going to do like, we're going to make sure we celebrate those who staked TIA. And then when the airdrop came out, nothing happened. So once again, we have to be very clear because people are hanging on every single word that these people are saying because that's our source. Pirate Barrel, I missed your DFK videos. Yeah, Pirate Barrel, unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, the DFK community for the most part is a bunch of toxic people. And while I don't think the majority is like that, I'd say the vocal people are, and I'm sick and tired of having to defend myself for telling the truth. My last DFK video, Jewel was at 50 cents. I said, hey guys, it's going below 25 cents. I'm not buying it. Guess what happened? I got a bunch of barrage, hate mail, everything else. Guess what Jewel's price is? 23 cents. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? All I can do is tell you guys what I think. No one has to sort of buy it. Do your own research. That's what I always say. I already went over this. Any future airdrops for TIA stakers? You know what? I'm going to make 3 videos in the next 2 days. One on Atom, one on Injective, one on TIA, doing a full recap. Letting you guys know what's coming and also changes that we're likely to see given the most recent events. There's a very interesting stat on Celestia. If you look at the number of new wallets created, it has like, I think 4 or 5x in the last 2 weeks. But if you look at the number of Celestia actually staked, it's like maybe 10 to 20% more, which means that people are just creating farming wallets. And what does that tell you? It means protocols are going to get smart and they're going to raise their threshold. So these wallet farmers are sort of hurting other people. But guess what? I'm going to make a sort of starting from scratch video in every single one, creating a new wallet, sort of putting money in it and showing you guys. And just so you guys know, once it's over, I'm going to disband the wallet, send the money back, because I don't want you guys thinking I'm going to do that, okay? This needed to be said. Well done. I believe in the token price, but that's exactly right. Their technology can be the best thing in the world, but what if you don't trust them? It's like when you date like a hot chick and like every time you turn around, she's texting a dude behind your back. Does that make her ugly? No, but you certainly don't trust her. And that's the thing. I just don't count on them in the worst case scenario. In the best case scenario, they'll be your best friend. The token's going to do fantastic. But there are so many good tokens out there. So like for me, because we have a plethora of options like Dimension and stuff, I'm probably going to focus there. So let me just keep going on sort of my rant here. So yeah, the MANTA token is doing fantastic. In fact, if you're looking to buy the MANTA token, now is not a bad time. Here's why. There are so many people who feel the same way I do. So what does that mean? They can only get better from here because literally people are pissed. If they sort of change sentiment around things, they're definitely going to get people to buy in and the token is going to do extremely well. That's what's starting to happen. People are starting to turn around because they've undid some of the damage that they did yesterday. So for those of you who think I'm going to come here and say the token's going to go down, there is a circumstance where it can go down. I don't think it's likely, not at least for the long term. I think this token goes up. That being said, it's all about, do you want to support the team? I'm one of the forced MANTA holders from 2021. And even, yeah, like that's exactly right. Even from that time, the team communication could be better. I wish they would say that. In fact, what we see in the Discord is actually the opposite. I'm sort of embarrassed to say this, but I was not happy with the way they were communicating yesterday. So I just exited the Discord. And then I needed a screenshot for this video. So I sort of tucked my tail between my legs, walked back in there, joined the Discord, took the screenshot, and at least they unmetered it. So at least people can talk now. You couldn't do that before. Um, are we getting Manta for stake Tia? I don't. I think you will from sorry, Manta for stake Tia. I think you'll get that if you did it through Layer Bank. I don't know about the actual platform because they said that they were going to reward Celestia holders. So like, if you just have Tia staked to your validator, a non-centralized exchange validator, then I think they said you would, but I haven't heard anything. So for now, I'm going to assume no until I'm told otherwise. Yeah, so Vabit Abukar, you can withdraw your ETH. It really depends. So you can do one of two things. You can go to Aperture Swap. So Aperture Swap, it's not linked in this video, but you know what? Maybe I can put the link in the description. Copy paste. Maybe this will go here. If it did, yeah, it did. Okay, perfect. So you can go to this link. You can type in your stone, which I'm assuming that's what you're asking about, right? So we'll go to stone, ether, and then ETH. So let's say you have 2 ETH, or 1 ETH. Let's do 1 ETH. You would lose 6.3% of your ETH value by taking it out today. But the inverse is true. If you bridged ETH over, you could actually give 1 ETH and you would get 6.6%, just like you would get a 6.6% return instantly. And all you have to do is let them hold it for 68 more days, which is actually not a bad play. This is a play I did yesterday. Then the rates came down. I swapped out and I made some easy money, right? Or maybe this was 2 days ago. But that's what you can do, okay? So I want to get back to sort of what I was discussing. So we talked about the airdrop and, number one thing, communication could be a million times better, right? If you look at the MANTA token, like I said, this is not a bad buying opportunity. The one thing I will say here, though, is keep in mind the Bitcoin chart. So this is a chart that I've had literally posted. I mean, it's been posted in the private group for a while, but I mapped this out a long time ago. This one a little more recently, like maybe 2 months ago. But if you take a look here, we're pretty much spot on to this correction. I expect Bitcoin to at least hit 38,994, and then it could technically go as far, I think, as 32,663. The blue line is in a more extreme situation, but it's what I think. And if this truly does happen, it's not Manta's fault if Manta's token goes down. That's just the entire industry. And for those of you who are like, this guy just drew the chart yesterday. Well, actually, even on, January 12th, a week ago, I literally posted one snapshot saying, hey, the people in my group knew this was coming. Some people said I was arrogant for posting this. I mean, I don't know what you want from me, but you can see this chart's not full yet. And for those of you who are like, maybe you're cherry picking, well, not really, because like the Ethereum chart has not played out yet the way I expected it to. It went one more leg higher, but I do expect it to come down at least in 1900 in the short term. Not FUD, but just small correction, and then we go on a massive bull run in the middle of the year to the end of year. That's my expectation. So that doesn't mean I'm selling anything off. And I sold some alts to trim, not touching Ethereum, not touching Bitcoin, not selling any of those. In fact, I sold those alts to take the profit, injective at $40, the ones I had unstaked, Avalanche at 38. And by doing that, I'm able to buy those much cheaper and also be able to buy some extra Bitcoin and some Ethereum. So that is the charts. And what is it called? Alexi said, but how they save the project and bring it through the bear market is almost a masterpiece. Yeah, so like what I'm saying is I'm not crucifying them. I'm giving feedback, right? When this feedback was given to Kenny, do you know what they said? They said the same thing you did. Don't FUD the project. And all people said was, hey, I wish you just were more clear on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between giving feedback and saying, hey, I want to see this happen, or I want to see that you're better at this before I choose to really like go balls deep in like investing here, versus just saying, hey, like, this, like, I think the stuff that people are saying about how this is a scam, how they're going to steal the ETH, that's completely unbased and complete lies. Those are emotional statements made by people who don't understand any of this, right? That's not what's going on. What's going on is just the way they treated their customers is not good. That's all, right? What a shame, airdrop, and we have our funds locked for 3 months. Well, here's the thing. You can ask yourself, Clockwork Ape, if you truly think you could do more in the 2 months and like 9 days or 8 days that you would not have the funds, then you can go to Aperture swap your stone for Ethereum, bridge it off. You lose like 6%, but if you can make more, maybe that's an opportunity, right? That's definitely an opportunity for you if you want to take it. So definitely consider that, and you can use the Injective Hub to sort of swap. So we went through this already. My whole thing here is I've always told you guys, follow the Manta network. The problem is they don't put out press releases. When somebody or when a company or a protocol screws up, drops the ball, I expect them to at least address it here. I would have loved to have seen something like, hey guys, we know there might have been some confusion around this. We just want to clarify this is what's going on. That's it. They don't need to change anything. Instead, you get these passive aggressive statements. This is the thing that really turns people off, right? You know, go, good morning, everyone. Today's a big day, whatever. Please be patient. Great. Like, no one is blaming them for like the chain having issues and the DDoS attack. In fact, hey, I'm glad that the funds are safe, right? You know, I'm also glad they told people refrain from making transfers or claim, because you know what was happening? The gas fee was insane. The GWEI was like 12 or 13 at one point. So if you wanted to like make a simple trade, it went from being a penny to like $3 or $4. Kind of reminds me of Ethereum, right? And then number 4 is where I have a real issue. Those who complain about not getting better rewards from the bonus drop because they were late to the new paradigm campaign, I apologize for the inconvenience, but I encourage you to be more attentive and read the full terms and conditions at the first time next time. Please avoid spreading FUD, rumors, or misinformation, or you'll be banned. The team has not broken its initial commitment to the community and respects its agreement 100%. And this is where I disagree. I think they were not clear. I think that they did change a few things, at least in the way they communicated externally. They may have always had all this stuff written in their terms and conditions, but they already know. No one reads the terms and conditions. Remember that South Park episode? No one does. Like they're just way too big. But the reality is we expect your press releases and your communication to be very clear. So if you say that deposits end on a certain day, but you don't say the boxes do, but then later change it to say that they both do, why are you surprised that people are upset? People made plans around that. And I'm not saying for them to change it, but for them to say, be more attentive, read the full terms and conditions. Hey, like that is exactly how you lose people, right? You're blaming them for what happened. A better way to have written this statement is, hey, look, we understand there was some confusion around the way that people perceived this bonus drop. In the future, we'll definitely try to do better to make sure we're more clear on what is in our terms and conditions so that people don't make the wrong decisions based on unclear information. I can't imagine somebody reading that and being upset. But reading this, number 4 basically goes, hey, bozo, it's your fault for not reading this properly. And then, but this was the entire attitude. And not just that, what they did was even worse. For one half a day or a full day, they made it so you couldn't even chat in the Discord. I remember trying to say something and it said, you don't have permission to speak in this channel. And they got rid of it because they didn't want anyone else talking. They didn't want people communicating. Now, I know people love to think this kind of thing works, but it actually does the opposite. When you try to censor people, no matter what you think you're doing it for, it never turns out great because all you've told people is you've got something to hide. If you didn't, why would you do that? You could have slowed down the messages, made it so that you could only send a message once every 15 minutes or 10 minutes or moderate it specifically, but to just take away people's ability to speak after they've put their funds in your platform, that's where I draw the line, right? So here's what I'm doing with Manta going forward. Like, we've been here for 29 minutes. I'm not one of those people who likes to make long videos, but look, if you want to buy Manta and sort of you want to like stick through like Bitcoin's correction or whatever, then I think that this is somewhat of a low point. Like, I think that the token can go higher. Me personally, I do not trust this team based on what they said, not from a safety perspective. I don't trust them if something goes wrong to have my back. That's my issue with the team. I would love for Kenny and the team to prove me wrong. If they do, then I will come around on Manta. I'm only saying this based on what they've done recently. So, and the reason I say this is I went through this exact same situation about 2 years ago. About a year, yeah, 2 years ago almost, a year and a half. So this was when Harmony, which was used to be one of my favorite chains, very fast transaction time. The token was 20 cents at one point. I got in at 2 cents, right? It was fantastic. They're, how do I put it? They had a ton of inadequate responses to the way their bridge got hacked. So when their bridge got hacked and people lost all their funds, they basically gave the middle finger to everyone, didn't come through on any of their commitments, basically were responsible for killing a ton of projects. I am in a project called DeFi Kingdoms, and they basically almost brought them to the brink of death. Thanks to the DeFi Kingdoms team, they got themselves saved, and now Harmony's coming around begging for them to return as if none of this happened. But their entire leadership, every single one of them, didn't care about anybody but themselves. They broke every single commitment, and this was after playing nice and pretending like things were great. So I am hypersensitive when I start seeing that in a team. If a team is not willing to communicate with this community and they're not willing to sort of, be open and transparent, it doesn't matter how great the technology is. Hey, I'm sure Manta will do fantastic as a token, but I can still put my money elsewhere and still make money. That's sort of where I think I want to go. The project sucks, but Manta may have pumping 1 billion market cap when it compared to, 100%. I like I said, this is not me here to sort of tell you guys that Manta is going to dump and be terrible. Like I said, I think there's a big opportunity for Manta. Manta's market cap is 630 million. I wouldn't be surprised to see it around, at least $3 to $5 billion, which represents a 5 to 8x from here in the long term, probably at the end of this bull cycle or at the top of this bull cycle. But I said that doesn't make it unique from a lot of other chains like Dimension, other chains where we've got great leadership. Let me tell you something. Layer Bank is the exact opposite of Manta. They may be on the network, but their team is super transparent, treats everyone respectfully. These guys gold star, it's night and day difference. And I feel bad because they're basically getting shit on because a lot of the problems people are having are with their instance of Layer Bank on the Manta network. But it's out of their control because the Manta network's the one that's having the issues. So I think the Manta team can learn a lot from sort of what happened here. It doesn't mean this is the end of Manta, and I think quite the contrary. There are people who are going to believe in their tech and keep buying it. That's why I think this will, serve as a really, a decent place to buy. Like I said, not financial advice, but at the end of the day, it's hey, I want to put my money with teams that I think will have my back, and I don't know if this is one of it. Yeah, and see, look, Two News brings it up. Harmony Grant is another big lesson. We've got to learn from teams who treat us a certain way. They don't have a monopoly on our money. There is so much amazing technology in the space. We are not set and saying, hey, Manta is the only thing or something else is not the only thing. No. And Alexi, that's not the point. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the way the Manta team handled the communication around the airdrop is giving me flashbacks to what happened with the Harmony hack. They're not the same, 100%. You'd have to be an idiot to think that. What I'm saying is the way the team acted here, what do I think would happen if something happened on their platform and funds went out? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it will, right? But you've got to sort of look a little bit further than just the technology and look at the team. The team is just as important as the tech. So I want to see the Manta team actually step up and go and number one, I want them to own what happened here. For them to point the finger at the community, not good enough. And you know what? If that's the hill they want to sort of stick on, hey, I'm sure they'll do well. I don't need to sort of put my money here. I can put my money elsewhere. I'm not saying not to put your money here. This is fantastic technology, right? Like, I love the fact that got Celestia on Ethereum. I'm actually more disappointed that this happened because I really believed in this. I really wanted the team to do well. So that's why I'm like, man, I wish they would show their community that they care. I think they think they're showing that, but they're not. And I think they've got to realize that. And yeah, we can definitely have ego. I have ego, right? Like when somebody says, hey, somebody posted my video saying, hey, you're like late. I'm like, dude, I literally posted it when there was enough content. What do you want from me, right? Like, I think we all have egos, but it's customer service. If you are having a ton of customers who just gave you money, you got to treat them right. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing with our ETH while it's on our network locked? Whatever they want. Like, this is the liquidity funding that we provided them. So it's a great bonus for them. And honestly, when I provided it, I expected not to get it back till the end of March. I believe March 27th is the date that it will convert back to ETH. But so I've already accounted for all that in my decisions. It was more just about the way things change, right? And I had somebody gaslight me. I'm going to bring this up. Somebody gaslit me and said, hey, they always had the timer. That's what I got told in the Discord. When I said, why did they add this timer and change things? It's like, we don't have video evidence. Like, give me a break. Like, I looked back at every single one of my videos. There's no timer up there. It's literally like, hey, look, this is the thing. Like, what do you mean? So the reality is, like, deposit tokens thing. Oh, actually, wait. Deposit tokens and earn. Wow. See, this is why we do things live. So, like, it actually is saying deposit tokens and earn rewards until Jan 2024. Damn, it's so small. Like, I can't believe I just saw that. That was the first time I'm seeing it. So, like, okay, maybe they didn't gaslight me, but like, there was no clock or whatever, and it wasn't big enough, right? Like, what I looked at is their communication on Twitter and everywhere else. But man, let me tell you, that was a egg on my face moment right now. You know what I mean? I want my 4 ETH back, MANTA team. Yeah, the only way that you'll get that back right now is by paying 6.5% discount on whatever that 4 ETH is. So you'd lose like 0.25 ETH, I think, that's a pretty penny. 0.25 ETH is like a little over like $600. Yikes. So for Krakus, Lauren, do I use fair value gaps? No, I use the volume indicators. I use basic support resistance. I use EMA 50. And basically what I try to do is I look for liquidity zones. And by doing that, I'm able to find out, okay, where's the money, right? The number one thing is, it's not me and you who's making these charts. It's the big money, the big institutions. So when they buy and sell, there are unfilled orders, right? So maybe I'll just quickly go over this for those who are a little confused on how this works. The reason these yellow lines work, right, is they're not magic. The reason these things hold up here and they kind of bounce up, down, bounce is, imagine this like a wall. There's a wall of buy orders, a wall of sell orders. So when you are coming down here, like the red candle here, it comes down and there's a wall of buy orders that have not been sort of filled from the last time. So what happens is they try, doesn't work. Go back up, comes back down, fills more buy orders that still exist. And every single time it'll keep doing it until it can't, at which point it breaks through. That's what supply resistance basically is. You have to look at it like a wall and just imagine like a number on it. Once that number is depleted, the wall breaks. But until then, it just tries firing at it. And the same thing above. Above is sell orders that existed. Once you've done enough, it breaks right through. I hope that sort of makes sense. But anyways, I've been here ranting for the last 40 minutes on MANTA New Paradigm. I'm glad you guys were on and we had a great chat. If you sort of watch this after the fact, hey, post in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let's be raw and honest with each other. My learnings from this entire thing is, in the future, whenever I make airdrop videos, I'm going to make sure I highlight if I think it's going to be a dilutative airdrop, if the airdrop will require an investment on your part. If it's an incentivized testnet and it's free, or a Galaxy campaign or whatever, and like you're paying like $1 or $2, we're not going to worry about it. But if there's something where it's like, hey, can I have your money on loan for something? Well, we're going to take a look at that and talk about, is this actually worth it? Okay. So anyways, I hope that helps. I hope, you got something out of this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Also, if you wouldn't mind, share the video with someone you know, preferably somebody who's kind of upset about this situation, because they'll be fired up and then maybe they'll like the video and share with people they know as well. With that being said, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.